Dover Motor Speedway is a monster of a racetrack. Exactly 1 mile in length, Dover has some of the most extreme banking, 24 degrees, on the NASCAR Cup Series circuit. Even the straights are banked at 9 degrees. Did we mention Dover is one of only 2 Cup tracks that features concrete pavement the whole way around? Constructed between 1967 and 1969, Dover Motor Speedway was initially paved with asphalt. It wasn't until 1995's comprehensive revamp that the track was paved in concrete, giving Dover's racing surface its distinctive appearance. No matter the pavement, Dover has long been one of the most competitive tracks on the NASCAR schedule. From 1969 through 1980, 21 of the 22 Cup races at Dover were won by drivers who either already had won a Cup championship or would go on to win a Cup championship. The names of those winners are part of the fabric of the sport. Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, David Pearson, Cal Yarborough, Benny Parsons, and Darrell Waltrip. Allison and Petty rank first on the all-time win list at Dover with 7 victories apiece. More recently, Jimmy Johnson with 6, Jeff Gordon with 4, Mark Martin with 4, and a host of other stock car legends have added their names to the list of drivers that have won at Dover. A list that also includes Scott Sharp, Greg Ray, who each won a race during Dover's cameo appearance of the Indy Racing League calendar in the 1990s. Tonight, it's the GOATS 145, Numb Thumb's Racing League DEP Graphics Truck Series, and it's coming up next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dover Motor Speedway. The new name of, well, this racetrack here in Dover, Delaware was SMI coming on board. Dover Motor Speedway, it is referred to nowadays instead of Dover International Raceway. Practice just finishing up here at Dover. Going to jump right into the qualifying session. Things finishing up here. Overcast skies. In fact, let's take a look at the race info for tonight. Little issue here. Let's try this again, shall we? SDK overlay giving me some headaches all week long. It's never not worked, so hopefully we can power through things here tonight. So let's try this again. Race information. It is the GOATS 145 Numb Thumbs Racing League DEP Graphics Truck Series. 145 laps. Air temperature 71 degrees. 82% humidity. Track temp nice and cool. 77 degrees on account of those overcast skies. Qualifying already underway here at Dover. Vincent Short on the racetrack. Paul Durkee fastest so far, 22.88. Brian Rose, P2. Zach Millett, P3. Millett, lap 1. Must have got a piece of the wall on his second lap. He's going to call it a qualifying attempt here, 23.318. Certainly not indicative of the lap he expected to run. We'll take a look at practice from early on. Millett was fastest at 22.67. At this point, certainly would have been plenty for pole position. He parks it in pit lane here. This might be it for the 315. But meanwhile, Vincent Short goes P1, a 22.83 for the 15 truck. Joe Bennett wraps up his attempt here, 5th on the board. Justin Johnson in the 10 truck. He's 14th thus far. Crosses the line. He picks up the pace here just a bit on lap 2. He does. 9th quick, 23.096. Alfie Charon not having a good start to his qualifying attempt. He's going to have to try it again. Justin Hopp in the 24. Salina, Kansas. Justin Hopp sporting the NTG colors on that number 24 truck, Numb Thumbs Gaming. That's 7-Eleven Trick, the first in the stream chat, cheering on Vincent Short. Lap 2 for Hopp at 23:41. Meanwhile, Blaine Woodruff goes 11th quick on his first lap at 23:13. Woodruff sporting the old Jimmy Spencer colors. Real loose out of 4, keeps his foot in it, crosses the line. Third quick, 22.876 for Blaine Woodruff. Nick Cote in the number 94 JBL machine. 23 flat, just about first time. 9th quick the first time around. Goes P1, 22.746 for Cote. Takes the top spot here late in qualifying. Chris Klein on the racetrack, the number 51 out of Buford, Georgia. Real quick into the second spot at 22.78, just about half a tenth short of that P1 position. Tim Pope and Juan Jimenez have arrived, as per Derek Welch in the stream chat. Klein goes 22.99, 8th quick on his attempt. Dan Baker in the 09. Takes the green flag on his qualifying run. Baker runs a 23.16 the first time, 15 fast on lap number 1. Tim Pope hits the racetrack. He's certainly going to be a threat. Clean laps for Baker. Where does he land? 7th quick, 22.951. Timothy Pope out of Roseboro, North Carolina, the 728 back in action here in the Numb Thumbs Racing League. Oh, Tim Pope real loose out of turn 2. It's going to cost him. Couldn't bring it back. Hits the inside safer barrier a ton. Gets the reset here. Might get an opportunity for one lap, or will he? Pope was trying to get all he could on that qualifying run there. Got trouble out of turn number 2. Let's see if he takes it a little easier this next time by. Green flag for Pope. Much cleaner exit. Oh, gets a piece of the wall. That's going to hurt him. Hopefully he doesn't get the incident point out of that. That would negate the lap if he did. So Pope doesn't get the lap counted. He gets a piece of the wall again. Still about 2 minutes left in the qualifying session. 94 of Nick Cote on the pole, 22.74. Let's go to Juan Jimenez, the last truck to really throw down an official time here tonight. Jimenez on his first lap. Oh, gets a piece of the wall just before start finish. Tough break for Jimenez again. That's going to cost him on his first lap. Luckily, he did it right before start finish. Kills lap 1, but now he's going to have to make it up here on the second lap. .23.45, 22nd quick for Juan Jimenez. Certainly not where he wanted to lock himself in. With just a minute left, we're going to jump out and get a break out of the way, and we'll be back with our starting grid after this. Back at Dover Motor Speedway, the GOAT's 145 Numb Thumbs Racing League on the pole position with a lap time of 22.746. It's the number 94 of Nick Cote to his outside. Starting second in the 2, just about half a tenth shy of that pole position, it's Neil Quick. Vincent Short, Holler Boys Racing number 15, will start third with Blaine Woodruff rolling from the 4th spot. Paul Durkee in the 13, he'll start 5th. Justin Lawson in the 20, he starts in the 6th spot. Dan Baker, the 09 out of Ohio, he'll start 7th, with Mason Wagaman, the number 56, starting in the 8th position. Chris Klein in the 51, he'll start 9th. Brian Rose, the number 89, AgentDotson.com entry, will start 10th. Double O Joe Bennett is going to roll from the 11th starting position. Like Adamson will be 12th. Rob Hattenback, the number 99, 13th. Justin Johnson with Lone Star Racing in the 10X will start 14th. Brandon Coleman, the number 19, will start 15th. Scott Milner, 16th. Jeff Ottinger with Wicked Loose Racing will start in the 17th spot. Tough break in qualifying for Zach Millen. He'll start 18th. Justin Hopp's going to roll from the 19th spot. Robert Chipman Jr., 20th. Tony Pope will start 21st. Juan Jimenez, 22nd. Timothy Pope's 728 machine, 23rd. Alfie Sharon, the number 78, starts 24th. Credited with last, Dave Holmberg. Don't believe he's going to take the green here tonight. Maybe he is. Either way, shotgun on the field. That's your starting grid for the GOAT's 145 from Dover Motor Speedway, getting ready to go green.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. We are underway from Dover. Nick Cote brings him down. Neil Quick with a good start as well. He's right to the outside into turn 1. Cote leads lap number 1 here at Dover. Neil Quick tucks into the second spot. Vincent Short close behind the two. 1 truck length at most, trailing Neil Quick. Caution on the speedway already. Oh, Juan Jimenez
real quick and then tell me what
in
you got.
trouble big time here. The number 22 on his lid here. The completion of lap 1, maybe halfway through lap number 2. Blaine Woodruff, Tony Polk involved in this. Blaine goes straight to the pits. Let's see what happened here. Already under the caution flag. Big trouble out of turn number 2. There you see it. Let's get another look at it from another angle. 71. Woodruff up top, and that Camel Joe's machine just gets loose on corner exit. Brian Rose right underneath. He's going to have to avoid. Great job by Brian Rose. Doesn't get a piece of the inside wall either. Woodruff had just kept it straight. He might have been okay, but man, Jimenez comes in there and just drills the 71. Really nowhere for the 22 to go. Under our first caution early here at Dover. Multiple drivers coming down pit lane. Brian Rose being one of them. Don't believe Brian had some damage. This might just be topping off with some fuel, as it was just a 5.7 second stop. And pit window here tonight between 45 and 49 laps. It seems 49 the absolute max. Drivers are going to be able to stretch things here tonight. Again, we are here tonight for the GOATS 145 from Dover Motor Speedway. Appreciate those guys jumping on board and sponsoring tonight's event. Well, bad news for some drivers. Early wreck here at Dover. Good news is we get to try another restart here in just a moment or two. Some more good news. Drivers do all have a fast repair. Fortunate for them, at least those involved in this first caution. They're going to have to use it pretty much right away here, so they're going to be at that disadvantage throughout the rest of the race. But Nick Cote out of the box awfully quick. Ironically, 24:25, the first fast lap for Cote. Neil Quick was a 24:81. Again, hard to really put a serious gauge on things, given that it was only a lap and a half in before we got to our first caution of the night. So the lights on top of the iRacing official pace truck are off, which means, well, you know what it means. We're going back to green this next time by. Base car pulls down pit lane. Let's try this again.
Green flag.
Back underway from Dover. Oh, we got trouble already down into turn number 1. Don't know who it might have been. Maybe Dave Holmberg got the inside wall. Holmberg a little bit off the pace here through turns 3 and 4, trying to get collected. Let's Go back to the restart here and watch it. I think it was Holmberg indeed that gets into the inside wall. We'll go full speed here from the spotter's tower. Just didn't fire. Late to the throttle. Oh, contact with Brian Rose at 24 gets contact. I think it might have been with Tim Pope. Everybody banging doors there, cross start finish as the green came out. While back out front, Cote maintains the top spot. Vincent Short has jumped into the second position. Pressure from Neil Quick trying to take that position back away from the 15. Quick down to the bottom. Gets it with ease, and here comes Zach Millett already up into the fourth position. He's up 14 spots already. Cote on rails thus far. Only 10 laps in, but put full second on the 2 of Neil Quick. Millett runs third, Short fourth. Fifth position, it's Daniel Baker. Battle for the second spot, Millett and Quick. Millett goes down low. Moves Zach Millett up to P2. 11 laps in. Nick Cote already out to a 1 1/4 second advantage over Zach Millett, Neil Quick, Vincent Short, and Daniel Baker. Cote maintains a decent lead here, and it seems to be stretching us out a little bit here. A second and a half back to Zach Millett still and growing. Cote with some speed here at Dover early on. Wanya Nemeth remains on the racetrack. 3 laps down, though, that first, second lap incident. Big time impact, had to burn the fast repair. I think he did have to tow to pit lane. Lost a ton of track position. He's going to need a bunch of help to get his way back through this field, if it's even possible to this point. On the other hand, though, Timothy Pope didn't have a great qualifying run, had to start near the back. He has some damage as well, but he's worked himself up into the 11th spot. Making a move on Scott Milner here to the inside. This will be for the 10th position. Pope gets a piece of the wall on entry, just barely skims the safer barrier. Pope now battling with Jeff Ottinger. Ottinger, the black F-150, the number 76, loses his spot to Pope. Move the 728 up to the 9th position and still closing. Next on the list, it's Brian Rose. He's got his own battle starting to shape up with 00 Joe Bennett. Rose just inching closer
Caution,
to
caution.
Joe Bennett. Caution comes out now. Alfie Charon involved in this one. Many drivers involved in this one as you see Alfie slide down the banking. Brandon Coleman, Scott Milner, Mike Adamson all involved. Pace truck gets in the middle of this as well. So lap 20, second caution of the afternoon. Let's try and get a look at it, see what happened to the 78. Oh, just gets to the inside of the 31 machine. That's Scott Milner. He goes back up the racetrack. I'm not sure if the issues started to happen in behind. And then just typical Dover. Just don't have the room. Almost collects Justin Johnson sliding back down the banking. Well, there you have it. Multiple drivers hitting pit lane here, already underway. Pit stop's complete. Drivers that opted to pit first out of the pits is going to be Nick Cote still in the number 94. Dave Holmberg opted to stay on the racetrack, so he's going to inherit the top spot. Going to lead some laps here, but though we are only 20 laps in, tire life certainly going to play a factor here at Dover. A concrete surface, it's very abrasive. Lap times do tend to fall off rather quickly. Drivers do have 4 sets of tires over the wall this evening. Now, with these drivers opting, it seems everyone for tires. Now they're down to 3. Rob Hattenbach looks like he pit, but took fuel only. Not sure if he had a different issue, though, because Hattenbach with fuel only, still back in the 15th spot, unless he was just that far to the back of the pack. I still can't imagine him not gaining many more spots with 10 less seconds in the pits. So a little recap here, 22 laps in, the 94 of Cote continues to leave. Holmberg has finally opted to hit pit lane, just wanted to lead that lap, or maybe he missed the pits, it's hard to say. Cote, your pole sitter here today, is going to have to fight off a hard-charging Neil Quick in the second spot. Quick started outside front row, but he's also got Zach Millett in behind. Vincent Short, who has shown some speed early on. He's going to restart in fourth, and then it's Dan Baker. Double O Joe Bennett, Tim Pope, who's got some speed. He's worked his way all the way up from the back to P7. Chris Klein, Jeff Ottinger, Mason Wagam in the top 10. .31 of Scott Milner is going to go around, get the wave around here. Pace truck lights go out, so we are on the 1 to go. Restart coming at lap 24 the next time by. So the 22 of Jimenez has gotten 1 of 3 laps back, so now he's only 2 down. You don't want to count him out just yet. It is so early on. I know you don't want to start a race in a deficit. Jimenez certainly has, but already gotten 1 of those laps back. We continue this on. He's got plenty of pace. He's got the ability to put himself in a position to be that first truck laps down, eligible for the wave around or a lucky dog. Keeps doing that. We get a couple more cautions. He can be right back in the thick of this. Pace truck is down.
Green, green, green.
Green flag back out here at Dover. We're back underway. Big wiggles out of everybody out of turn 2. Seems we all got away with it clean this time. Cote with a ton of speed here at Dover. I don't know if this is his home track. Caution on the Speedway once again.
Bud, tell me about your car real quick.
Not sure what triggered this one. See Milner and Holmberg there at the back of the pack. This could be the issue. We're going to go with a guess here. Let's give it a shot. I don't have any indicators as to what triggered it. Looks like indeed it was. The 8 and the 63 coming together across the stripe here on the front straightaway. The 8 of Tony Polk. Jimenez goes way down to the bottom trying to stay out of that mess. So 26 laps in under our third caution of the afternoon. Early aggression here at Dover. We're going to step aside, get a break out of the way, and we'll be back after this. Stay with us.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Dover, green flag in the air. We're racing here, lap 30. Cote with the command of the restart here. Neil Quick to the outside. Then it's Zach Millett inside row number 2. Vincent Short. And the 09 of Daniel Baker. Out of turn 2. Do they get through clean this time? So far, so good. Into turn 3. Millett taking a peek to the inside, down to turn 1. Nothing doing just yet. Cote slides up the racetrack, shuts the door out of turn 2. Millett is right there, takes a peek once again down into turn number 1 for the lead here at Dover. Cote way up the racetrack. Zach Millett clears him out of turn 2. New leader, 315. Neil Quick's going to try and take advantage, get the second spot as well. Cote tucks back in behind. Baker thought about making the same move, wasn't able to take advantage. So now Cote, Baker 3 and 4, Vincent Short in 5th. Cote still less than a truck. Off the back of the 2 of Quick. Out of turn 2, Neil does stretch it out just a bit. Cote, though, not out in the lead here, still has some pace. Meanwhile, Neil Quick losing ground to Zach Millett. It's a 1.2 second advantage for the 315. Once again, Neil Quick great with saving tires. This might be the case here, only running as fast as he has to at this point in the game. Cote seems a little bit faster, or at least willing to make the challenge to get around the 2. Last lap for Quick at 23:40, Cote at 23:45. Quick maintaining a little bit better lap time. Not by much, that's awful close, half a tenth. Cote to the bottom in 3. Not able to get alongside, or is he? He does. The door is open. Neil Quick in the top lane, Cote to the bottom. Good run for Quick out of turn 4. Watch this battle continue here for the second spot. Neil Quick has it, or had it for that matter. Cote takes it back. Move the 2 back to P3. Cote back to the second spot. Meanwhile, it's 2 seconds behind leader Zach Millett. Now remember, the fuel window, 45 to 49 laps. We're going to base it off the first 39 laps. Don't know that we're going to get a long enough run to see that happen, but you never know. Sometimes these cautions just kind of fix themselves. Pit stops happened at lap 20. We did have a caution within that time period from then to now. Certainly going to add some laps to that fuel window. Say between lap 90 and 100, we would expect to see some drivers down pit lane. And if, and only if, it stays green, that would put them in a position to likely make it to the end, at least on fuel. But again, we are at Dover. This place wears tires out very quickly. Though you might not need to stop for fuel, the guys might opt to hit pit lane for at least a set of tires. Gotta say it though, Zach Millett's last lap was a 23.63. Nick Cote about a tenth faster, so he's starting to cut into that lead. Catching some other battles on track. Brian Rose in the 10th position, working on Mason Wagaman for 9th. Albert Anderson in the stream chat, cheering on Tim Pope. Keep digging. Pope running in the 7th spot and having a good afternoon. Not a great qualifying run, but a better race. Rose takes the spot from Wagaman. Move Brian up to the 9th position. Battle with Justin Johnson and Justin Lawson. They almost go door to door into the corner. Johnson goes to the bottom, Lawson up top. Lawson in that green number 20. Move Justin Johnson to P12. Wagaman continues to lose some spots here. Paul Durkee has just gone by. He's up into the 10th position now. Durkee's got some pace. He's closing in on Brian Rose. Rose catches the left rear, left sides of the truck, that is, on the paved part of the racetrack. As far as blacktop is concerned, definitely upset the truck just a bit on corner exit. Allows Durkee to close the gap just a bit more. Top 5 still unchanged. It's Millett, Cote, Quick, Short, Baker. The gap from Millett to Cote still shrinking. It's about 1.5 seconds. Continue to watch this fight here. Brian Rose, Paul Durkee for the 9th spot. Paul is right there, all over the back bumper. Looks to the inside in turn 3 on Brian Rose. Completes the pass out of turn number 4. Move Brian Rose back to the 10th position. Durkee up to 9th. Tim Pope still running in that 7th position behind 00 Joe Bennett. Joe Bennett putting big time pressure on Dan Baker. Baker slides up the racetrack a little bit, opens the door for the 00 on a turn 4, side by side, almost making contact. Battle continues into turn 1. Bennett takes the spot away, move 00 Joe up to the 5th spot. Pope might have gotten a piece of the outside wall in turn number 2 just for a moment on corner exit. Jerky making a move here to the bottom once again for position. That's Chris Klein up top side. He's going to lose a spot as well. Jerky moving forward here now into the 8th position. Battles out in front of the field. It's still Millett, Quick, Cote, Short, now Bennett. Deficit back to Quick from Millett, 1.68 seconds. Cote again now slipping back to the 3rd spot. A little bit of right side damage on the 94 machine. We might have got a piece of the outside wall. Might have got a piece of Neil Quick. We don't know. The left side of the 2 looking clean. Timothy Pope in the 9th position. Slipped just a bit, still battling here. Brian Rose is closed in. Remember, still some damage on the nose of the 728 truck. Tim Pope not operating at maximum performance at the moment, but he can likely get all that fixed on that next pit stop. Certainly likely wants to save that fast repair to when he really, truly needs it. Kind of a bit of a strategy play, though. How long do you wait to use the fast repair? Do you want to get it now for that little bit better speed advantage that you could have, or do you want to wait it out until it's a real emergency and you don't end up with a poor finish? I know Pope hasn't made all the races here this season, so in my opinion, it's time to be aggressive. Use that fast repair the first opportunity that you get to. Pope is quick even with the damage, running in the 10th spot. Pope not able to gain a ton of ground back on Brian Rose, but he's not losing any ground to the 89. He's hanging tough, sticking out of that 10th position. Justin Johnson, though, is in behind the 728, about 4 truck lengths behind. Again, no stages here in the Numb Thumbs Racing League, and we are just about 10 laps or so shy of the halfway point. Technically, lap 72 and a half would make it halfway. Brian Rose looking to the inside on Chris Klein for position. This is for the 8th position. Brian Rose a nose in front of the 51 for now. On a 4 doesn't have Klein quite clear. Chris battles back on the outside. Rose keeps it up on the bottom. Exited 2, still not clear of Klein. Now he gets the position. Move Brian Rose officially now into P8. A little battle did open the door for Timothy Pope to put some pressure on the 51 as well. As we talked about early on, some drivers may opt for tires earlier than fuel. Nick Cote down the pit lane here from the top 5, lap 65. What appears to be scheduled service. Nick trying to pull the undercut here and pick up some track position with the faster tires once he rejoins. That or force the leaders to come down pit lane as well. However, you do see some right front damage that he's just now going to get fixed here with the fast repair. That also could have been the indicator as to why he came down pit lane. 4 tires, fuel, and damage repair for the 94 truck. drops the jack. He's down and away. Going to rejoin the hunt. Brian Rowe's going to do the same here. He's down pit lane. Realistically, looking at this is kind of right in the pit window that they should be for fuel if we didn't have that one caution. Again, drivers were able to go about 48, 49 laps. Drivers hit 2 yellow flags here. It looks like, if I go back through, yes. Seems to be a little bit early, but not outside the scope of having to make one more stop. So might as well stretch the better tires as long as you can. Brian Rowe is back in the race, and we got a yellow. This is going to kill these guys that had just pit. They're going to get caught a lap down. Scott Milner and the 24 involved in this. Justin Hopp here inside the racetrack here, coming into turn 3. Works for some, not for many. Or works for many and not for some, however you want to put it. Let's get a look at it, see what happened with the 24 and 31. Let's go real wide here. Again, this is exit of turn 2. 31 is Scott Milner. Oh, just gets into the 24 as he gets the outside wall first. Bounces off the wall into the 31. Sends the 31 to the inside wall. He bounces off the inside. Comes back on the track. Watch it in real time here. Just shoots the 31 hard down the track. Again, the banking here, even in the straightaways, 9 degrees. Self-cleaning racetrack will ultimately send any kind of mess to the bottom. There you have it. So pit stops underway. Neil Quick in his box. 4 tires and fuel. Lap 71. Again, just shy of halfway. Drivers are not able to make it all the way to the finish from here. They will need at least one more stop for fuel. Looks like Millet's going to beat Quick out of pit lane. 4 tires and fuel for Millet, a 14:68 pit stop. Neil Quick, the identical service, the identical time. Also 14.68 seconds in the pit box. So with that, our 4th caution of the afternoon. We're going to jump out and get a break out of the way. We'll be back with the restart after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Dover Motor Speedway, pace truck hits the pit lane, completing our 4th caution. Green flag going to come out here, lap 74. Zach Millett's going to lead him down.
Flag.
Zach in the throttle here. Good jump for the 315. It's going to be a battle with Neil Quick and Vincent Short for P2 down into turn number 1. Quick up top in the red and gray WR1 number 2. Vince slides up the track, kind of pinches the 2 into the wall here. Doesn't make contact, but Quick's going to lose 2 spots out of this. He slips back to 4th. Double O Joe is into P3. Got Haley in the stream chat. I like the commercials. I get to get a drink. Well, don't let the racing prevent you from getting a drink. Lord. It's half the reason I let the commercials play, because I need one. Lap 75, Zach Millett leads Vincent Short and Double O Joe Bennett. Battle for the 4th spot between Dan Baker and Neil Quick. Quick slides back to the 5th position again. Neil does have plenty of pace around here. I just think he might be saving his stuff for later on in the run. Neil's certainly been known to do that, take care of his stuff. He's good at it. We watched him in seasons past in the Superior Class Auto Racing League. He's able to save for quite a while, and all of a sudden, the last handful of laps, he's there battling for the win. We saw Joe Bennett get a piece of the wall there, damage the right side of the truck, only loses 1 spot. Dan Baker now up in the 3rd position. Meanwhile, Millett stretching it out over Vincent Short, 1.15 seconds back to the 15. Baker challenging for the position. Oh, contact with Vincent Short, puts him in the outside wall. Looked to be a bit of net code there. Stay under the green flag as everyone tries to scatter, and now we're going to have a yellow, or will we? Vincent Short a ping pong ball here at lap 79, and we stay under the green flag. Things just went from bad to worse for Vincent Short. Had that 2nd position and a little bit of contact from Dan Baker, though it did appear to be a lot of net code. There was no real contact when Vince came around the way that he did, but then he gets into the wall and he was running 2nd, so all the field is in behind him, and they just start bouncing off of the 15 truck. A little bit of smoke out of Short. He's got some damage on that thing. He's going to have to come to pit lane here the next time, I believe, if he hasn't already lost the engine. Sounds like he's not under power as we ride on board. Vincent Short trying to limp it back to the pits. Truck barely running. He's lost a couple of laps already. Vince very slow down the pits here. I don't know if he's going to make it to the box or not. Does get in there, burns the faster pair. At least he can get back out and run this thing if he wants. He does. Tough break for the 15 truck. 85 laps in. Went from running P2 with a strong run going. Now 2+ laps down. So back out front, Zach Millett with a 2.1 second advantage over the 09 of Dan Baker. 00 Joe Bennett up to P3. Neil Quick still runs 4th. Paul Durkee in the 5th spot. Tim Pope running 13th. Pope not on the lead lap. Would certainly need a caution here. He's in position for the lucky dog. Terry Crouch in the stream chat. You can walk faster than the pit speed limit at Dover. Well, that's the truth. I don't know if Vince was trying to get that truck to the pit lane on the starter motor, though. That thing was severely underpowered trying to get down to his pit box. Chris Klein running in the 7th spot. Tim Pope, as we talked about, 13th. First truck 1 lap down. Justin Lawson here on the racetrack, the number 20 machine. Nick Cote. Cote running in the 14th spot. Remember, Nick Cote was our pole sitter here. Led some laps, had a real strong truck, really still does. Justin Johnson going to the inside. Oh, contact! Gets into Cote. Cote goes up the racetrack. Caution on the Speedway.
Laps by yourself there. How'd it feel?
Just talking about Nick Cote has having a strong run. Got caught during the pit cycle to put him a lap down. Was running in the 14th spot, and contact there with Justin Johnson. Sends the 94 around and into the fence. Tim Pope will likely to get the lucky dog here, but let's take a look and see what's put us under our 5th caution of the night. Johnson gets to the inside. Looks like he just swings up the racetrack to kind of straighten out the corner, but comes up a tick too high, gets into the left rear of the 94, sends Cote into the outside wall. Brian Rose gets a small piece. Might have been a bigger piece with the added net code. But there you have it. I don't think it was intentional by any means, but I think Justin might have come up just a bit too much. Gets into the left rear of Cote and sends him around. So pit stops underway once again here under the yellow flag. Now this is interesting now if you really look at it. We're at lap 92. All right, we talked about this earlier on in the broadcast. The most the drivers are going to be able to run, at least from what we were told pre-race, is 49 laps. It's going to leave us about 5 laps shy on fuel if they really stretch it. So we either need another caution, maybe even 2. Or these guys all need to start saving fuel right now. It's going to be close. With that, we're going to get a quick word from DEP Graphics, and we'll be back after this. Back at Dover Motor Speedway. Lap 93 coming to the one to go. At least it should be the one to go. Caution coming out just before the fuel window was to open. Very surprised, though, that I get that these guys are out front. Got 14 trucks on the lead lap, though. If I'm up front, knowing that I'm going to be 5 or 6 laps short, maybe a little bit less given the extra caution laps, but still going to be short, I almost would have considered coming down pit lane the second time to top off, maybe to do it one more time after that. Yes, you lose a ton of track position, but if you can eliminate the possibility of a green flag stop as this race goes on, if you can guarantee that you're going to make it to the end, it's almost worth the gamble. Nobody really taking that gamble. Everybody pitting within lap 91 or 92. So it's likely to put even the best guys 3 to 4 laps shy on fuel. So see what happens when we get a caution or not. Go green all the way to the end. It's going to get real interesting. Pace truck down. Pit lane, getting ready to go back to green. Quick, Zach Millett on the front row. Green flag waves. Quick with the restart. Down into turn number 1. Zach Millett, Dan Baker battling for the second spot. Millett on the high side, get a power out. Down turn 2, real loose is Baker on turn 2. He saves the truck. Millett dives to the bottom on Neil Quick. He's going for the lead in turn 3. Quickly takes the spot from Neil Quick. Power down for the 315. Back to the point. Lap 96. No fuel savings for Zach Millett. He's just going to go hammer down until he's got to stop again. Millett out in front still, but not running away from Neil Quick. He's right there, half a truck off the back bumper of the 315 as we get to the stripe. Lap 98 goes on the board. Quick drives it way deep, almost making contact with Zach Millett. Taking a peek to the inside, but the door's not open enough. Quick tries to force it to the bottom. He does, alongside of Zach Millett. On a turn number 4, little bit of contact. Crazy action here at the front of the field, but now Neil Quick, he's got company. Mason Wagaman on the top side. The number 56 machine challenging for the second spot. Quick might have got his stuff a little too hot. Contact with Joe Bennett. Joe Bennett slides up the racetrack, straightens it back out. We stay under the green flag, but he's going to lose a ton of ground. Millett comfortably out in front, 0.6 of a second the advantage back to Wagaman. Crosses the line here. It's going to be 45 laps to go for that S4 guy. Still needing one more splash of fuel to make it home, as does just about everybody else here in the top 14. Neil Quick and Dan Baker now doing battle into turn 1. Oh, contact! Gets into Neil Quick, spins him sideways. Quick gets it gathered back up, down on the apron of the racetrack. Still no caution. Quick, nice and slow down the backstretch. Drivers just snaking their way on by, trying to avoid making contact. No yellow flag once again. Neil Quick slips back to the 9th position. Big time tough break for Neil Quick, was running so strong. Dan Baker was fast, but just got into the back bumper on Neil Quick. Almost sent him around. Oh, contact with the 8 car. Still no caution. Neil Quick has got to be fuming in the cockpit of that F-150. So now Neil Quick has gone from battling with the 2nd position all the way back to 11th. And now Brian Rose is going to hit pit lane here. This might be the proverbial short pit, though he does have some damage on that truck. I think now is the opportunity. Get the fuel while you know you're going to be able to make it to the end. Maybe he burns the fast repair here. Don't know that if he's going to take tires or not to this point. Might still have a set left. In fact, I believe he does. Does he save him to the end, or does he burn it right now? No fast repair, but definitely bolting on new Goodyear Racing Eagles. Right side's in the air. Crew dropping the jack, goes around to the left side. 4 tires in Sunoco Racing fuel for Brian Rose. Should be good to go to the end, down and away. 14.73 seconds, a solid stop for Brian Rose. He's got some work to do, though, but now he's got to know, comfortable feeling that if this does go green the rest of the way, and I'll tell you, the way the officials have held the flag this afternoon with some of these incidents, maybe we won't get another yellow. Mill it out to an almost 2-second advantage over Mason Wagaman. Billett saving fuel, though. Listen to him cut that truck off. Pushes in the clutch, coasts into the corner. Listen again. Watch the tachometer right above the steering wheel, the big gauge in the middle. Watch the needle drop. All the way down to idle, 1,100 RPM, and worse, shuts it right down. Able to carry all that speed into the corner while not burning any fuel. I gotta tell you, if he does it right, there is a chance he might be able to stretch the fuel load all the way to the finish. Lap 110, coming to 35 laps to go. Mason Wagaman runs second, 1.8 seconds back. Dan Baker, Timothy Pope. Pope up into that 4th position. Remember, he was in the mid-teens not too long ago, and a lap down, was the beneficiary of that lucky dog and has worked his way back into the top 5. Brian Rose making some hay. He is now 2 laps down. Again, laps go by so fast here at Dover. You're about to lose 2 laps every time you come to pit lane under the green flag. And likely many other drivers are going to have to pull the same pit stop strategy as Brian Rose and hit pit lane at least once, unless you're super aggressive about it and trying to save fuel like Zach Millett is. Meanwhile, Neil Quick, though, he's down the pit lane. Right rear damage. Burns the fast repair. Final set of tires going on the truck. Neil Quick down and away, finishes his pit work. Interestingly enough, Zach Millett, while still trying to save fuel, has extended his lead over the 56 to almost 3 full seconds. Mason Wagaman running in that second spot. Tim Pope closing the gap as well. It's less than a second between those two. Battle for position still, Tim Pope and Rob Hattenback. Double O Joe Bennett, he's part of this as well, almost making contact with Pope. Takes the spot away. Well, Alfie Charon in the pit lane from 20th. Pope had worked his way all the way up into the third spot. Since then, he has slipped back to fifth. You got to wonder, is he starting to save some fuel and some tire, or did he just use up his stuff, working his way back to the top 5? Either way, it's been a strong run for Timothy Pope. Biggest mover on the night, up 18 spots if he sits in the 5th spot all the way the rest of the way home. Rob Hattenback to the inside on Wagaman. He's already gone by. Not quite clear, though. Double O Joe, he's going to try and take advantage. These two battle it out. Wagaman goes topside, Hattenback to the bottom. Joe Bennett's going to hang back just a bit in case they come together on turn 2. Still this battle continuing. Wagaman, the number 56 Glock F-150, battling for the second spot with the 99 of Rob Hattenback. Tell you, Double O Joe seems to be the fastest of this trio. If he can just get on by, he might be able to continue forward. 25 laps to go here from Dover. So Rob Hattenback completes the pass finally on Wagaman, moves the 99 up into the second position. Wagaman third, Bennett fourth. Tim Pope still runs fifth. Dan Baker back to the 6th spot, a little bit of a distance back from Pope. Neil Quick on fresher rubber, continuing to charge his way through the field. Quick back in 16th, 2 laps down. Oh, some contact with Wagaman and Double O Joe. How did those two not just wreck? Unbelievable save by both drivers. You saw it just as the camera changed views. Those two with smoke flying everywhere. I thought they were dead to rights. They continue on, battling for position. Double O Joe Bennett takes the 3rd spot. Real quick to the inside on Brian Rose. Alfie Sharon as well. Quick getting by Brian was for position. Looks like Wagaman does have some damage as he continues to slide backwards. Not able to keep pace with Double O Joe. And Wagaman's going to pull down here. Looks like he's going to hit pit lane. 19 laps to go. Oh, and he gets the barrels. Just a little wide on pit entry. Noses it into the barrels that protect the end of pit wall. Things going from bad to worse for the 56. He was going to come down and get tires and fuel for his final stop of the day. Likely maybe a fast repair as well. Certainly going to need one now. Hopefully he's got one left. Meanwhile, Zach Millet out to a 6-second advantage over Rob Hattenback. Wagaman may have used the faster pair early on. He's got right sides in the air. Truck still a little beaten and battered. Drops the jack and leaves pit lane. Tim Pope, Justin Johnson down pit lane. Final stop of the day. Let's check out Zach Millet and see if he's still saving fuel. That he is. Those of you unfamiliar with what Zach is doing here and how he's making it work, it's called the lift and coast. I know some of you watching know perfectly well what I'm talking about. Some might not, but it is exactly what it sounds like. You lift off the throttle, as you would for the corner anyway, and you coast in. And you might lift off the throttle a little bit sooner than you normally would, especially on tracks where you need to use the brakes. You'd pick up the brake pedal a little bit later because you've lifted out of the throttle earlier. But in Zach's case, he's also getting on the clutch, so he's letting the engine idle, burning significantly less fuel every corner that he gets into. Lap after lap after lap, it might just be enough to save him 4 to 5 laps of fuel throughout this run. If he's been doing it the whole time, he might just be able to stretch this to the checkered flag. Millet's got plenty of gap back to the second place running 00 Joe Bennett. It's 9.5 seconds that he can honestly shed with lap time, which that in itself is going to save fuel. Bennett hasn't stopped. He will need to. Baker, same situation. Shipman, Lawson, Klein, all pit the same time as Zach Millet. So unless they've been saving fuel like the 315, they're all going to have to pit. 13 coming to 12 laps to go for Zach Millet. 10 seconds the advantage, a third of a lap, not even, almost a half a lap advantage on second place right now. That's 00 Joe. Joe Bennett not in too much trouble as far as traffic is concerned. Lap truck of Vincent Short to his inside. Did hear Bennett lift out of the throttle as well. Let's check again with 00. Yep, he is doing the exact same thing. Lift and coast. And you hear it too. He's not picking up the throttle real hard on exit either. That's another way you can do it. Don't jam on the throttle. Don't light up those rear tires, because if they're spinning, as far as not hooking up with the racing surface, they're just essentially, you're doing a burnout at speed. You're burning fuel unnecessarily. So if you pick up the throttle nice and slow, it certainly helps. Watch this battle for the 4th spot between Justin Lawson and Rob Chipman. This is 4th position, closest lead lap battle on the racetrack right now. Millet across the line, 7 laps to go. Wagaman's going to jump to the inside, take the position, or at least the track position away. No need to fight for Zach Millet. Wagaman was in contention to fight for a top 5 here, but had his share of issues, especially on entry to pit lane. Hattenback goes on by. Again, not for position. Trick here is to let Millet still save some fuel. You want to be at the bottom of the racetrack, especially if you're in fuel save mode. It's the shortest distance around. Albert Anderson in the stream chat says, will Millett make it on fuel? We talked to him pre-race. He says the max fuel he was able to go was 49 laps, but that was running the truck the whole time. He's been pushing here trying to save fuel for quite some time, almost really since the beginning of this run. Caution laps certainly helped at all. Might have extended it another couple of laps, so really needed to save 3 to 4 laps of fuel. With the lift and coast method, he should have been able to save a handful, but if not, I would expect to see him here in this lap or the next down pit lane, as well as everybody else that was down pit lane in lap 91, 92. Millett off turn 4, 4 laps to go. Millett with a 3/4 lap advantage over the 20 of Justin Lawson. He really can afford to save a whole lot more than he is right now. Last lap was a 24:79. He's still stretching the lead over Lawson. Lawson's last lap at 25 flat, so still 0.2 of a second quicker per lap is Zach Millett with almost a lap lead on P2. Fuel save mode, you've got to back that number way, way down. With many laps to go, you can back it down 2 seconds a lap, 3 seconds a lap, and still maintain enough fuel to get to the finish with plenty of gap out the rear view. You can hear now Millett out of turn 2, way, way out of the throttle. Truck's not even running through 3 and 4. Zach Millett looking for the white flag one more time around. Barney's waving it. Last lap from Dover. Zach Millett down through turns 1 and 2, exiting down the back straightaway. Is there enough Tiger in the tank for that S4 guy? Little bit of a wiggle out of turn 2, trying to get the pickup to take a little bit more fuel. Does he have enough? Checkered flag is waving out of turn 4. He can coast home. Checkered flag, Zach Millett wins the GOATS 145. Zach Millett stretching the fuel all the way home. Now, if I know Zach Millett, he's probably going to clutch it all the way to start finish just so we can do a little burnout. Impressive run for the 315. He had the pace, but then he had to slow it way down, and he did just that. Saved plenty of fuel to make it to the end. Zach Millett certainly happy and saved just enough to get some donuts taken care of here on the front stretch here at the Monster Mile. We're going to jump out and get our final break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Dover Motor Speedway, the GOATS 145 DEP Graphics Truck Series, the Numb Thumbs Racing League. Zach Millett winning once again here. He had to earn this one, though. Had to find a way to save 5 full laps of fuel. That final stint going green the entire way from the final pit stop. He pulled it off. Had to fight off a hard charging Neil Quick. Also had to fight off that fuel tank running dry. Let's get a word with our race winner, the 315. That S4 guy, Zach Millett at Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Thank you, Steve. Got a copy.
Congratulations on another victory here over in Numb Thumbs. Again, we talked about it before we brought you up here. Well earned. You had some pace, made some mistakes in qualifying, put you out back, I think, in the 18th starting position. Quickly worked your way up through the field, dodged some bullets with some caution laps, and then walk us through the strategy to save that much fuel. I think it was an extra 5-6 plus laps to get it home to the checkered flag, a cool down lap, and even some burnouts, man. Walk us through it.
Man, it was tight. I mean, the first 10 laps, 15 laps of that last run there, we were thinking there's no way, there's no possible way we're going to make it. So we're actually pushing really hard those laps. And big thanks to Carson Conway for spotting for me tonight. He had it ready to go. He had every pit stop good to go, and he mic'd up and said, we're pretty close. We could possibly make this happen. So I think it was around that 15 laps in or so we started clutching and shutting the truck right off and trying to keep pace. I can't believe it worked, man. It was definitely scary coasting through those turns and trying not to hit the wall.
Well, we talked pre-race about what the fuel window was going to be. I think 49 laps was what everybody expected to be the max. You guys got your pit stops done at lap 91, throwing a couple of caution laps. Maybe it shortens it up a little bit, but still really impressed. I think you went a total of 54 laps. Again, that cool down, you can say it's another half a lap plus the burnouts. Let's just round it up to 55 laps on a full load of fuel. Plenty of fuel strategy. Is that something that you've worked on? Is it something that isn't always been one of the tools in your bag of tricks?
Yeah, I try to practice that as much as possible. The only place I'll probably never practice it there again was Mid-Ohio. But besides that, yeah, we try to keep that in the bank if possible, because you just never know.
Well, next week we're going to go to Michigan Speedway, certainly a much different style racetrack, though, however, it does once in a while yield to some fuel strategy. What are your thoughts going into the Irish Hills next week?
We'll definitely keep an eye on the fuel strategy for sure. It's going to be a pretty tight race. That's one of those tracks. Anybody can win anytime. It's going to be a big group up front. It's hard to escape anybody. So, yeah, I think it'll be fun to watch. It'll probably be pretty stressful to drive.
Well, Zach, congratulations on the race win here tonight. We're going to let you go here. Who do you want to shout out to?
Thanks to you, Steve, and HBR TV for the broadcast, as always. Numb Thumbs Gaming, the NTRL, all the guys in the league. Big thanks to the HBR guys and teammates, man. They make this possible, hosting practices every race and hopping in. We got a good group of guys that jump in, turn laps, and that's what it's all about, get the laps in. So big thanks to you, Steve, Brian Rose, Eddie Rose, Carson Conway again for spotting for me tonight. Track Bar Media, Eric Duff and State Farm, Castle Products, and shoot me a follow over on Twitch at that S4 guy.
All right, Zach. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week at Michigan.
Thanks, brother.
Zach Millett, your race winner here at Dover. Next, we're going to go to our runner-up driver, the number 20. It's Justin Lawson. Getting up into the HBR TV broadcast booth. Justin, it's Steve in the HBR booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Justin, congratulations, man. A solid top 5 finish. Bring it home in the 2nd spot. Walk us through your race. I know it was filled with a bit of attrition. Certainly some damage on that Toyota that you're driving there at the end of this race. Still managed to bring it home somewhat clean and within the top 2, man. Walk us through it.
Yeah, early on, I just run wide coming out of one of the corners and crinkled up the right front, and then it just snowballs from there. Every run, you end up burning off the right front tire, trying to compensate for it and maintain pace. I did get all my optionals repaired under a couple of cautions, but it wasn't ideal. But I didn't want to burn the fast repair and wanted to have it in case we had a wad up near the end. So, catch 22 there, but decided to save it and didn't need it. But yeah, it was fun.
Well, certainly an interesting race to watch. It was certainly action early on with a bunch of crashes and such, but things kind of cleaned up. A lot of green flag running there near the end, and then some strategy that played into the mix here. We look at Zach Millett, he took tires on that final stop. It looks like you might have gone fuel only. Do I see that correctly?
You probably see that I came in and topped off when we went 2 to green.
I gotcha.
I did take tires on that caution also. But my strategy on the last run, I went straight to the back. I was clutching, killing the ignition, everything I needed to do. I actually had several laps left at the end. I guess I saved too much, but it wouldn't have mattered. I didn't have anything for a grip hack up there, so.
Well, either way, a strong performance here tonight, a second place finish, well earned. Congratulations for it. Next week we go to Michigan Raceway. What are your thoughts going into Michigan next week?
I need to get on here and practice. I've been away the last 2 weeks, missed the last 2 races, so if I can get some laps in and get my team up there, me, Paul, and Brandon, we did a lot of truck racing a few years ago, but we've kind of went away from it, so we need to get back into it and see if we can at least see Zach by the end of the race. I don't know if we can beat him, but I'd like to be able to see him.
In my experience, at least at Michigan, though it is somewhat limited, it does kind of run almost like a super speedway with the trucks. The trucks put such a big hole in the air. There's a lot of draft involved. Teamwork could certainly help next week, so we'll be tuning in to watch that one. We certainly wish you the best of luck for it. But Justin, we're going to let you go here. Get talking to Joe Bennett. Anyone you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I think y'all guys do a great job broadcasting. Thanks to my team, the GOATs, me, Brandon, and Paul, and thanks to Derek for putting all this on. It's a lot of fun.
All right, Justin. Thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week.
Yep, thank you.
It's Justin Lawson, driver of the number 20 Toyota, finishing in the second spot. Next, we're going to go to Double O Joe, third place finisher. Joe Bennett, Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Joe, congratulations, man. A top 3 finish. Started P11, just outside the top 10. Quite a bit of work to work your way up into this top 3, man. Some aggression, some close calls. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, just the beginning, I was just trying to feel it out and see where everybody was going to do with their tire wear, because that's a huge factor here, And I was, trying to just keep my same line and focus on just making consistent laps, because I'm not fast enough to lead, so if I'm consistency, put me in the top 3 tonight, So had a couple of incidents with a couple of drivers, and I got a little sideways from Daniel. I guess we made a little bit of connection there. I don't know if it was netcode or what. And then I drove up into Wagaman toward the end there, and that was a complete accident. Just wanted to apologize for that. But yeah, other than that, man, I had to save right there at the end, clutching corners. Everybody started realizing what I was doing, and they were like, "Whoa, I need to slow down." It was a fun race, though. Fun race for sure.
Lift and coast coming into play at a place like Dover, not something you see on a regular basis. Usually plenty of cautions to get guys enough opportunities to put fuel in the truck. Wasn't the case here late. A little early on, we seemed like that was going to go that way. It didn't end up being the case. It was a fun race to watch. It was impressive to watch guys like yourself, Zach Millett, do that lift and coast to save as much fuel as you guys did. It was a job well done.
Well, I appreciate it. I want to thank you for, broadcasting and everything. And shout out to Numb Thumbs and Plus EV guys over there. Chris finished right behind me in 4th. He's like, I'm just going to follow you all the way, man. I'm like, let's do it. Let's save tire and just be consistent, So we did our thing tonight, and shout out to like I said, you guys, and NTR and everybody else associated, DEP. But yeah, it was a fun race.
Certainly a fun one to watch. Next week at Michigan Speedway, certainly going to be an interesting one as well. We were talking to Justin Lawson about it. It kind of runs a little bit like a super speedway with the hole these trucks punch in the air. It drafts quite a bit well. Teamwork's going to be a key factor next week. What are your thoughts going into Michigan?
Yeah, I just, find those 2 or 3 guys that, I really work good with. We run the same line, can save a little bit of tire, stay in the draft, save some gas. I think it'll be a pretty smooth race. I don't think there'll be many cautions.
Well, Joe, we certainly wish you luck going out to Michigan next week. We're going to let you go. I know you gave us some attaboys and thank yous. Is there anybody else you want to shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to Pops. He's Papa Joe is out there watching me tonight. So Just, shout out to him, and shout out, like I said, to everybody and you guys again, man. I appreciate it. You do a great job, Steve.
Well, thanks for the kind words, Joe. Thanks for talking to us. And again, good luck out at Michigan.
Yes, sir.
It's 00 Joe Bennett, driver of, the 00 F-150, finishing P3 here at Dover Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at our official race results. Of course, we talked to our top three: Zach Millett, Justin Lawson, Joe Bennett. Chris Klein finished in the 4th position. 5th went to Tim Pope. Good run for Pope. And if you look at this, the top 3 finishers, the only drivers on the lead lap, really the only guys I think that were able to get all the way home without making that final stop, I believe. I have to go back and double check it, but looking at things, it does appear that's the case. Tim Pope again 5th. Neil Quick battled back to P6. I don't know how he did it. He just got run over there late, and I don't mean intentionally necessarily, but he had a very short string of bad luck, but it all came at one time. Neil Quick finishing P6, even all things considered. 7th was Rob Hattenbach, Mason Wagaman 8th, Paul Durkee 9th, Brian Rose 10th, Rob Chipman was 11th. 12th, well, that went to Dan Baker. Jeff Ottinger 13th, Tony Polk was 14th, Justin Hopp 15th. 16th finisher was Vincent Short. Uh-oh, where'd we go? Let's try it again. Vincent Short was 16th. Justin Johnson was 17th. Blaine Woodruff finished in the 18th position. Dave Holmberg 19th. Alfie Charon 20th. Nick Cote led this race, won the pole. Had some issues, got involved in a wreck, finishes 21st, 35 laps down. Juan Jimenez was 22nd. Early race crash for him. Scott Milner 23rd. Brandon Coleman 24th. And Mike Adamson 25th. It's your race results for the GOATS 145 Numb Thumbs Racing League DEP Graphics Truck Series. Man, these guys put on a good show every week. I know we've had a string of one winner here. I think this is 7 in a row for Zach Millett, but I got to tell you, everybody throughout the field is still putting on some great action. Mid-pack, really all the positions in behind, and I'm telling you, Zach Millett is beatable. I've seen it happen. If you guys want to see it happen, it seems to happen every Sunday night over in the No Bull Racing Series, so make sure you tune into HBR TV on Sunday evenings at about 8 p.m. if you want to watch Millett get his rear handed to him on a regular basis. I'm not trying to break his stones, but it seems to be the case lately, and for those of you that think he's unbeatable, he is not. So keep at it. Keep turning those laps. Your time will certainly come. Thank you guys all for joining us here in the stream tonight. Also in the stream chat, had a bunch of you guys chatting us up. That is always a big help. I certainly do appreciate it. We do have a website now. It's under construction. It's up and running. There's really not a whole lot there other than, a logo and a couple of buttons for the social media links, but it's hbrtv1.com. Check us out there. Again, the YouTube and Facebook links are there. We would appreciate the like, the follow, the share, and subscribe to both of those platforms. More importantly, the YouTube side, just because that's where the racing streams do occur 99.9% of the time. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't liked the stream, please do that, because it also helps push it to a little bit wider of an audience and helps get this eyeballs on more of the racing here at HBR TV, as well as the Numb Thumbs Racing League. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week in Michigan. Have a good night.